to do a clap?
I know you love the clap. I was just told to do the clap.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just in case.
Good morning, Katheryn.
Hello.
Hi, it's TheraSisters, and I'm Amy Camp-Ryan.
And I'm Katheryn Barton.
Yes. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
A little discombobulated, but I think it'll come back.
You're not the only one.
Yes. Yeah.
I forgot we were taping a podcast today.
Yay. Thank goodness we have the wonderful Ash, who's patient and kind here with us. But we have some traveling coming up.
We are, yes.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah, we're going to
Colorado! Yay!
And I'm excited.
Yeah. Our niece is graduating from high school, and we're excited to celebrate.
Yes. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colorado's a beautiful place.
Yes.
So excited about that.
The fresh air and the mountains.
Yes. Not excited about the drive.
No. That'll be okay.
How many? There's like 6 of us
in the juicy van.
6 of us in the juicy van for many hours. It should be a good time.
Yeah. I've a lot of books on audio that I have lined up.
Good.
I also have books downloaded into my Kindle, so we'll see what I get done.
Oh, good. I think it's interesting that we're different in that way, where you're an audio person and I'm more of a visual.
Yes.
If I listen to an audiobook, I would not be able to process it, or I would just zone off.
I'm sure there's things that I miss, but or if it feels like I missed a lot, I'll go back. But I've also gotten to a point with some books that I like to listen to them at the faster speed.
Okay.
And there are certain books that I've actually listened to at 2-point speed, which is like,
oh wow,
depending on the topics. And
how does it go again?
And my husband, he thinks that's a little nuts. He's like, how is that relaxing? And I'm like, well, sometimes the purpose for this for me is not to relax; it's to finish the book.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Well, instead of speeding things up, I think it's good to slow things down. And I think sound bowls is a great way of doing that. Do you want to introduce?
Yes.
Yeah, introduce.
Yay! So, Ashley, come on in.
Come on in, Ashley.
Okay.
And do you like Ashley or Ash?
Yeah. You can call me whatever.
Okay.
So,
I think I go both. It changes on the day.
Yeah.
Yes. So Ash from Well and Ash is here with us today, and you do sound bowls.
Yes.
Yeah,
I do.
And we've been to a couple
sound baths.
Yes.
I appreciate you guys coming.
They're amazing. I love them as being one of those sound people.
Yes.
Well, it is interesting because your sounds, I think, give me permission to zone out.
Yes.
And it does calm my brain versus, I think, listening to a book, sometimes even podcasts. There's a lot of focus. Whereas with sound baths, I don't necessarily need to focus. I can just be.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. It's, a sound bath it's not music, you know what I mean? It's really unorganized. I play differently every single time, as you guys know, since you've been to a handful.
Yes.
And it just kind of allows you to, find this place to pause, right? And, kind of go on your own sound journey. And with me playing differently every time, you're not having to pay attention like as you do in a song, right? The chorus is coming up, so it's that active brainwave state that we're trying to get out of.
Okay.
And so, we think of that as like a sound meditation.
So, yeah. So I'm curious of what led you to doing.
Especially for people that have never been to a sound bath, they're like, what do you mean you're playing bowls? Like, what do you like your hands?
Right. What does that even look
like? What is that movie? It's like Sandra Bullock and she, Miss Congeniality or something, and she's like, I think that's what people think I'm doing, like licking my fingers, like playing. I have no idea. So I don't know. I just, I was on this really, I am, on a really big wellness journey. And, music gosh, ever since I was a child, right? Like I love music. I love the way that sound makes me feel. And so in my wellness journey, I started attending sound baths. And this was actually who I got certified through. St. Louis-based company Surround with Lisa Greslak.
Awesome.
So I'd been to her sound baths a handful of times, and I always loved the way that it made me feel, not just during, but even after. And so when I learned that I could become a practitioner with her, like to train, I like felt immediately aligned. Like I was like, oh, this is for me. Like there was no question. Actually, it's kind of funny how the universe works because like they didn't have any space for the sessions that I was trying to sign up for. They like sold out. But then an opening happened and I was like, let's do it.
Yes, universe.
So yes, the universe. And so yeah, so I actually, it was like a year ago that I started my sound journey.
Oh, wow.
I started the certification in May of last year and then wrapped up in October. And then I started my group sessions in November. Okay. So it's been about 6 months of actually playing like in the public. But yeah, I'm drawn to it. It's like this really feel good addiction. It's like people who play guitars, you know what I mean? Like one that I have that I can't play. You know, but it's like my own therapy. When I'm playing, it's like this space not only to give people a place to pause and be in their own kind of inner stillness, I like to say. But for me, when I am playing, it's like all I could pay attention to. You know, I can't think of other things while I'm playing because it looks easy, you know, when you're playing, but there's notes, there's techniques, there's, you know, a method behind what we're doing, because if you've ever been to a sound bath that maybe they were playing a little too loud, I mean, it could be jarring for some people. We're talking about nervous systems. You know?
Yeah.
Yes, it could be jarring and it could not be a great experience. You know, I hope that I've always given a very therapeutic, calming experience through my own sound baths, and I'm always learning and, you know, will forever be a student. But it's meditative for me too. You know, I am much calmer coming out of a sound bath than I am going into one. You know, and so I get kind of, you know, addicted to it. Like I know that like when I haven't gotten to play for a while because maybe life is just a little too busy, I feel it internally that like I need to be reset as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so when you think about a sound bath and using sound as to go kind of along with our theme is healing, how would you describe how sound maybe helps you heal and how it helps others?
So first and foremost, when I think of healing, like I don't like a lot of people say sound healing. And that's something that I probably don't use very often because I feel like when we're talking about healing, we're talking about like, oh, I have a problem. I need to fix this. You know, I need to be healed in a way. For me, it's like, I just want you to come and slow down with me. I want you to like, I say it all the time, come zen out with me. You know, because I think that life asks a lot from us, you know, and I think that a part of stress in everyday life is just not understanding your own ability to slow down, you know. And it's like a mindfulness. You talk about mindfulness all the time. It's like a mindfulness practice that, you know, allows you to like, you could just sit still, you know, especially in a sound bath. It's hard to do for a lot of people, you know what I mean?
To be still.
It's a practice. It really is. But if you can just be still and kind of have this method of like, okay, I'm going to deeply listen to the sound. We're not listening to music. We're not like, it's not like active listening to like a TV. It's like deeply listening, like a whole body listening experience, right? When you're on the sound journey, it just allows you to go inward, right? It's a meditative experience. So that when you are done with your journey, right, and maybe you expose yourself to a sound bath once a week or twice a month, it's this deep conditioning. There's science behind sound that's happening in our bodies and our minds. But ultimately, just getting into this state of harmony and inner stillness. It's like our inner sanctuary. So that when we come out of it, you feel like, okay, I'm more connected to myself, right? That's therapy itself. Understanding the connection and getting still with yourself and your thoughts and just letting things go. You know, you might even have revelations during your sound bath. Emotions might come up, but ultimately it's coming out of it. You just feel reset so that you could feel like a better human to yourself and also to others.
Yeah. And I think, from experiencing a sound bath with you, you talk about that getting to know yourself a little bit better. And I think having the practice of being still and turning off or lightening some of our other senses of sight, perhaps, or touch, taste, smell, and then focusing solely on the sound, and to trust that we can be still and trust that our mind can, calm, be in a calm state. I think that just, it's good for us. It is important for us. And to, trust ourselves that we can take care, right? That our body and mind is safe, and that connection. And it really is a great experience, because for me, I get colors in my head with the sound, and it's just so.
It's just this I'm so glad I landed in this modality. It's it was meant for me. But it really is. It's just a beautiful experience. And no person's experience is the same as the other, right? And your experience from maybe, the first time you did a sound bath with me to the one where you're hanging in a trapeze was probably very different. It is just this, it's like people going to a yoga class or getting a massage. It is this practice that is to help achieve this state of balance and harmony within our minds and our bodies. So I'm happy that you guys had me on this show to really talk about it. I could be on social media all day long and post my beautiful videos, just be playing, but a lot of times, just getting the chance to talk it out and help people understand, especially skeptics. And so, to help people understand that this is such a growing modality, and that, it's not just like the hippies out in California doing it. This is for anybody every day. This place of service, and be able to provide that.
It's getting to the roots too of just something so natural, right? That's something that's so I don't know what the right word is, but it's just such a part of us. But being able to almost amplify it. And I know for me, my experience at the beginning, it is hard to quiet the mind, and it is really hard to get in that space of letting that go and just enjoying it and letting the sound kind of take over you. And I know there have been times where I've fallen asleep.
There's always one.
And I know you're not really supposed to. But I just remember always at the end, it's just like, I don't want it to end. And it's just that feeling of relaxation and like you said, just letting go and being able to.
Well, and I think that there's moments of you lose track of time. Like in the beginning, it might seem like, okay, when is this? I'm here forever, and all these voices in my head, my own voice. But then you do go through this phase, and you get to the end, you're like, what? No, I don't want it to be over. But I think there is something about losing track of time, because we are so regimented on this appointment, that appointment. I have to get this done by this time, and it's just nice to have an hour or however long where you do lose that track of time.
There's so like I said earlier, I take you on this sound journey, right? So in the beginning, you're just especially if it's your first time, you're what's happening? Okay, it sounds good, but this is different, and you're trying to shut the mind down, and our minds are not meant to shut down. They're just meant to kind of ping pong and, but, there's a point where what I'm trying to do is get you into a theta state. Okay. So if you've ever heard of theta healing and that kind of thing, this is the state that I ultimately want you to be in. This is actually the meditative state.
Okay. Explain a little bit more theta state, please.
So theta is so we all know about brain waves, right? So this is called, brainwave entrainment through sound. Okay. So theta is the state right before you fall asleep. So your conscious is still there. You're still aware, but you are dreamlike. And that's when people who state, I feel like I was having an out of body experience.
Okay. Yes.
Right? Because you're not used to, it's either you're awake or you're kind of falling asleep or you're asleep, right? That's what we're used to. It's just that natural cycle. But theta, if you like stay in it long enough, right? It's like this is where people have these like I don't want to say revelations, but it's like you have these aha moments or even like a moment of creativity. Like that's what meditation is,
Yes,
right?
I was just thinking that. Yes.
So when you're in theta or when you're in a true meditative state, that is theta state.
Okay.
Right. And so that is the goal. That is where I want you to be. I don't want you to be sleeping, right? And although, like, if you fall asleep, it just means you're tired, you need rest, and I get it. And it's hard, you know what I mean? Like, I can imagine me trying not to, like, fall asleep, you know, especially if you had a long work day and it's, you know, typically held in the evening and you're like, woo, okay, time to fall asleep. But no, it's really to be present, right? It's to really stay aware and be aware of the sound and you know, kind of get into that theta state.
What are the benefits of theta state?
Yeah. So, you know, they say theta healing. So this is like where, you know, your heart rate starts to, you know, kind of decrease. Like this is where it's like a state of calm.
Okay.
You know, we're sleeping, it's like full restorative, like, you know, your body is working to kind of repair, you know, like from throughout the day and that kind of thing. But theta is like it's just this moment, like if you can access that in your mind, like and you come out of it, it's so unique. It really is. And that's why meditation is so helpful, right?
Yes.
And you could talk all day about meditation.
Well, more
meditative tactics,
yes.
Yeah, mindful moments and all. So so that, you know, like talking about kind of and there's so much research happening, you know, kind of like the science behind sound. I will forever be a student and learning about it. You know, but it's just, you know, understanding how sound impacts us and how it can alter our brainwaves and, you know.
Well, I see those commercials for those apps, like the listen to the brown sound or the green sound. Yeah, Calm, I think is the name of the app. And I'm like, I will listen to the different. I'm like, oh, I don't think I like pink sound. Right? But so how do you like this? Do you see sounds as like, is there a color when you're doing your
sound? I mean, I understand like notes and tones and how like, you know, maybe a higher pitched tone, like my little F bowl is, you know, I can't play it for too long because it's like, it could be jarring, you know, but it's just a nice little, you know, kind of melody into, you know, maybe my big 14-inch grounding bowls, you know, that I don't want to be playing that the whole time because then you're just going to be like probably asleep. So just kind of, when I play, I mean, I have 9 bowls, you know, I've really grown my set. But you know, each one has their own note, and it's like I know that I can maybe hold these 2 higher notes for a little while to maybe bring you back up. You know, if I feel like I've been kind of playing my deeper grounding bowls a little too long, it's just like taking you on this journey so that you don't just like crash and fall asleep. You know, and that's why you'll hear like chimes and you know, kind of different striking methods and that kind of thing to kind of keep you
in theta versus
like
into
just
a sleep,
going right into a deep sleep state.
So theta is more restorative, perhaps, than reparative.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, in that state, I like that.
Well, and as you go through this journey and you're choosing the bowls, you're just tell us a little bit about just what that feels like for you and how you
good question because I want to know that.
Yeah. Well, for one, I mean, like, so there's vibration involved, and like, so when I'm playing, I feel the vibrations like in my body. You know what I mean? I'm like in it, like playing, and so I get so zenned out. Sometimes I'm like not even in my thinking mind, if that makes sense. Like I'm like, I don't know, like when you zone out for a while and you're like, oh, like that's like that happens to me where I have to like come back. Okay, don't do that. You know, sorry. I gotta like provide something here. Like I said earlier, I don't play the same every time. You know, it's just kind of like how I'm feeling. You know, and I want to use this technique, but you know, I typically will start off with like a chime, which is just a nice little like lullaby, right? Like, I mean, you guys have heard it. It's just a beauty. I wish I had it with me. I didn't even think about. I didn't think about like having it with me next time. But you know, to kind of like lull you in, and then I'll probably start with like maybe not the grounding like the big bowls because they could be very like a lot for especially somebody that's never done this before. So I'm thinking like because I'm very sound sensitive, so I'm thinking of the person that's just like I've never done this. So kind of lull me in, bring me a little, and I don't start very high because again I don't want it to be like this is too much, like come play over here. I'm just thinking of my bowl, like my layout. Anyway, but I'll play just very like harmoniously. I'll probably strike a little bit just to kind of have a different technique that isn't just singing. And striking is like just a yarn mallet that I'm just tapping the bowls.
Okay.
That's that like anyway. And like about halfway through, I'll start bringing in those really deep bowls and just trying to kind of get you theta, or if you haven't gotten there yet, and then like 75% of the way through, I'll start to bring you back up, right? So it's just this like journey. I always have my timer with me. And
I was going to say, how do you keep track?
I always have my timer.
Those moments when you're like in it too.
Yes. Yeah. I've got my timer. I'm watching. Like I usually go in like 15-minute increments. And I always play like a song. I don't think I did it with you guys in the beginning, but I always play like a song in the very beginning to kind of get you, like in the song to change, but just to get you grounded in your state versus just starting to play and you're like, la la la, like my brain's everywhere. And then just kind of doing like a body scan and just trying to help you, like unclench your jaw, relax your shoulders, take a deep breath in,
We all
but yeah, that's usually like the beginning, and then the end. It's just like a slowly bring you out of it, and then I kind of let you just take your time. Like the space is yours,
you have the energy for it.
Yeah.
I mean, just sitting here with you and listening to you talk about it, I'm like, yes. I remember the sound bowl. You have the energy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think anybody could truly, play, right? But there's like an energy exchange. If I come in, I'm stressed out. I mean, you're gonna hear it. Like I'm gonna drop a mallet. Like And so I have most of the time, like if I get the chance, I will practice an hour before I play. Just so that I'm grounded, and that way I'm ready to receive you guys when you come in. And that way you feel like, oh, Ashley's not stressed. She's good. She's got me. And there's just that moment of like, there's trust, especially if you're new.
So is that part of your self-care of how you take care of yourself? Is that hour beforehand?
Yeah, I love it. It's probably like my favorite. And I might do like, some video recording just to have for like later on down the line with social media posts and that kind of thing. But it's just a really nice way for me to keep my practice because it's me. Like I have to take care of me too, so that I can really provide this calming energy for others. So, because if I don't, like if I come in, maybe I had 3 back-to-back reveals at the studio, and you know what I mean? Right. It's just like, like it's just been kind of a stressful day, But if I just sit down my bowls and you guys come in and lay down, I'm not there yet, I need to be there. So
reveals in that you work with Jay
at
the photography studio. And that's a different energy.
It is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, if I could just, I couldn't play bowls all the time because I would just be like totally send out. And it's funny. I mean, I've like had moments where I've like, I played for an hour and I played for an hour, for people. And then by the time I'm done, like Jay will be like, so do you want to like go grab a bite? And I'm like, nope, I want to go home. I am like
not present.
Yes. Yeah. I need to go home. So it affects me as well. And I think that that's why it's like this twofold situation. You know what I mean? Like I get to experience this, beautiful modality every time I play while sharing with others.
That's nice. Yeah. Because I think as therapists, we do have an experience in session with our clients. And I know that there are times where I'm definitely still learning and I learn from my clients. And yet I think it is different in the sense that we get to hold and stay grounded. Not that you're not grounded, but it's just different, I think. And you get to be more immersed in it, which is nice.
Yeah, that's unique. I never thought about it that way in regards to like the therapist, right? Like having to be grounded and hold space. It's got to be safe, right? Like if I came and sat down with a therapist and they were stressed out and talking about like maybe their bad day, I'm like, are you here for me? Or, it's the energy exchange.
Yes, exactly. So you have your hour beforehand and we have a few minutes.
Maybe we could do this.
This is why we come to you, right? To help us heal.
Absolutely.
So do you do anything outside of the sound baths and that hour beforehand for yourself?
Yeah. So I actually recently, so back February 1st, I started a 200-hour yoga teacher training program.
Oh, wow.
So that has been an experience. So it's out of O'Fallon, Illinois. So Moonbird Yoga, who I absolutely love and adore. I know, it's so cute. It's a beautiful kind of they flipped a whole house, and it's just a beautiful studio. And I actually partner with them as well. So like not only am I in my, yoga training with them, but I do. So they have a yoga practice called restorative yoga, and at the very end, I do like a 25-minute mini sound bath. And it's just a beautiful yoga and sound. It's like that's kind of why I got into it, right?
Makes sense.
I mean, sound I got into for other reasons, but yoga, like partnering with it. I'm gonna actually this coming weekend I'm gonna learn, get trained in yoga, and just doing things that like are grounding and like I always think of like sound baths for like the doorway to my wellness. Right now, it's also yoga. Like, what's next? It could be breath work. It could, I could learn meditation. Like, there's so many things.
Yeah.
So how will you incorporate or combine maybe the two of sound baths with yoga? Like, can you do that?
So, okay. So, well, right now, I mean, we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Because it's like I can only do so much. But I could envision, like, because yin yoga, it's like get in a pose, hold the pose, and I could maybe do mini sound baths like with each pose.
Sure.
Same thing with restorative, but I could be hands off, because sometimes restorative does like a, like massage or touch, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But you could do hands off. And so, yeah, just kind of, combining the two, I think that there is definitely space for that. I think that the general public would love it.
Yes.
So, at least I think so.
That is exciting. I can see how it goes together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I could imagine being in a pose and just being surrounded by sound in that pose, and maybe that could even help you deepen the pose or just even be more present.
Yeah, I'm all for it. But yeah, so that, just yoga, the yoga practice, just doing that is definitely, yoga is like all about body lifting, like weights. Yoga it's a beautiful practice, and coming to that stillness and balance. It's not about a perfect pose. It's really about connecting to yourself on the mat. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hearing that you're doing these classes for it, so that you can teach it. And so while you're taking those classes and learning, is it also healing for you?
Yeah. Okay. It has been the coolest journey. And that's kind of why I started it, because I knew that it was going to help deepen my own wellness journey. Not just to be like, oh, I could do this pose. It's not even about that. It's like the class is so cool. My teacher is amazing. Tracy, she is like, I just can't say enough good things about her. But my class is absolutely wonderful. We have such great connection, and we really support each other. And we're actually like at the very end of I'm teaching my community class. I mean, you guys can come if you want.
Okay. When is it?
Yeah. It's May 30th, 7:30. Okay. Don't come. No, I'm kidding.
Is it Thursday?
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we're all kind of, coming to the end of this journey, and it's not about teaching. It's really about just being this beautiful human, so that you can hold space for others that are on their own journey, and having this like sense of community, and just kind of doing your best with whatever it is, But yoga is a practice to come to, just like a sound bath, It is this practice to just come to be present.
And be in it in that moment.
Yes.
And lose track of time. Yeah. Healing.
Absolutely.
So then was there any particular thing that initiated this wellness journey for you?
I think it was honestly like, I'm 36. So I started this like a year and a half ago. So I was, 34, 35. And I don't know. I think in my young 30s, I just kind of feel like I was just going through the motion of life, and not to say that I wasn't fulfilled, and I don't discount any progress or achievements that I had, before my wellness journey. But I just felt like, I wasn't really connected to myself. I was kind of just going through like the life, like just the routine, the tasks, the, climbing the corporate ladder and, doing all the things, that I felt was what success is. And so not like having that sense of connectedness is what kind of brought me into a place of stillness. And so, so when I kind of like deep dive into it, I mean, I quit alcohol for a year. Like I was doing all the things, not like to be like, oh, I did it, but I was just doing all these things that were like trying to get me to a space of like who I really am. Versus like, we all have deep conditioning and our own childhood experiences and things that we grew up understanding that this is what your life should look like.
Oh,
in all reality, no.
The shoulds.
Yeah, the shoulds,
Was there something that told you, I don't feel connected? Like, how did you even get to that space of like, oh, I want to change things?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just tired of myself. Like, I know it sounds sad, but like, there's a point, I think, in anybody's healing journey. There's just this moment of like, I need to shift something, like something doesn't feel,
enjoying life.
Right. So, like I said, I quit alcohol for a year, and that, even in that, it was like I stopped going to like bars 2 or 3 nights a week. You know what I mean? It's just like I had to kind of let go, not of like friendships, but just letting go of like that lifestyle. Because I think I was numbing a lot, like not like, oh, I was overdoing it, but I was working so much, and then I would go out. Just
stillness.
Yes.
Right? There was no stillness happening because it's like work, busy. Then, let's go drinking, social and noise. When I think of bars, I think of noise. And then, finding that stillness.
I got to this state of stillness. And then, like I said, I've been going to sound baths. And, then when I learned that I could become a practitioner, I was like, oh, I think this is my next step. And I jumped on it, and like it's been this beautiful journey ever since. And I cannot like foresee my life without it. You know what I mean? It's something that will always be with me. And I just want to share it with everybody.
Yeah, so, I hear you. That's awesome. Yeah, we're glad you're sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to.
Yes. Do we want to talk about glimmers? So, glimmers, right? Those moments of joy, or those moments that we recognize of, I have grown in this moment, and I'm recognizing it. Have you?
Yeah, I would say like one that was more like a pivotal moment for me. So, I talked about the yoga teacher training program. So it has been an adventure, like so much that I was like, I don't know if I can do this. It is way harder than I expected. But if it wasn't hard, then everybody would do it, right? So and
you have to have the passion, right, to keep going.
Because I mean, all of us in our group were probably like, what did I sign up for? Like, this is a lot. But my glimmer, I would say, is throughout the weekend. So it's not every weekend. It's like once or twice a month. But we've had to like teach 15-minute, 30-minute, 45-minute, and an hour. So like we have to literally like with the class, and every weekend, 15-minute, 30-minute, 45-minute, it wasn't working. So we had to teach without music. My timing was always off. Like I could not get there's so much. If you ever thought a yoga teacher was being one is easy, it is so hard. There's so much that goes into it. And my timing was always off. Well, finally, 2 weekends ago, I had to teach my 1 hour, but we had to have music. I wrapped in like 58 minutes, and I was like, oh, thank God. But it was like I was missing the music. But if the music goes out, it's like, well, you got to teach about music.
That's true.
So that was kind of the point. And so my glimmer, I literally had like in people in Savasana, I was like literally like tears were welling up in my eyes. Nobody could see me, but I was just like, I could do this. Like I had that moment of like,
doing it.
I can do it. I can do it. I just need music. But it's like believing in yourself so much. Like if you would have said a year and a half ago that I would become a yoga instructor, I'd been like, excuse me. Like I've done yoga like for many years, but maybe not like a well-tuned practice and going every week, but it was something that I always enjoyed and loved. But to become an instructor, I never thought I could do it. But then standing up there, and I'm like, I did it.
So that was good.
It was a great moment.
Yes, that is a good glimmer moment. Yeah. That moment of achievement and confidence and yes, all of that.
Any glimmer
glamour moments?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a glamour moment. So you were helping me. Amy was helping me with ways to ways to better connect with my kiddo when she does big emotions. We didn't get to the point where we had the conversation of talking about what to do in those moments before we had the big moments. And so last night was a night of big moments, and I needed to take a break. And then when I was able to come back, I had a moment where I just sat with her, and we just sat, and I was like, "Can I just sit with you?" And we sat, and it's getting me even right now. No, hold on. We were able to sit and just kind of get to a calm place because she's just like, I don't know how to calm my body right now. I don't know how to be calm. And I was like, I get it. Let's sit here with this. And I tried to incorporate some of the mindfulness things, but since we hadn't really set it up, they didn't necessarily play out. But we were able to talk through them, and I was able to distract, and we were able to find the blue things in the room and things like that. And so she got calm. And this was right before bed. And it was getting late. It was like she usually goes to bed at like 8:30 at night, and it was like 10:15. So it was wonderful because we got to a space where we got to be calm, and it was even for me. It was just being able to experience, being able to be in that moment and be okay, and it not being we're trying to fix this or we're trying to change this or you need to calm down or all of those things. That felt good.
Good job. You were able to just hold that space. And it is so hard as a parent to see your children uncomfortable, right? Or anyone you love in an uncomfortable space, and you know that they're afraid, and it's really hard to sit there. And so, good job.
Yeah.
And for her too, you can do that to sit through that.
Because it was stuff we were talking about too. Of like, it feels like I'm not allowed to cry, and so it was like you're allowed to cry, and all of these things affect all of us, right? Like, because I was having reactions too, and I was having emotions, and I was able to talk about my frustration and where that's coming from for me too. So it was just kind of a learning moment for us.
Yeah,
so
that is the beginning.
I know.
And now you're like, okay, I know what to do.
Yeah, so the groundwork is there, and we can build on it.
Yeah,
and get
good
better.
job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one.
What about you?
Mine isn't as profound.
Good. It could be small,
right? Yeah. It's more about recognizing that I can do adult things like in life, and just like being able to go, especially around like financial stuff, and getting more comfortable with money and being able to organize it and whatever. But yes, I went to the bank to move some things around and just having a conversation, and to walk out of there going, all right, I did that. And I feel confident about the choices I made. And I did all on my own. I didn't have anyone else there with me. So I was like 100% adulting, making my own decisions, talking. It is scary. So that was, I'm like, again, I think it's an achievement, right? We faced something that was maybe challenging, or we doubted ourselves and didn't have the confidence in, and then to walk out of there with that confidence. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling.
We have one more piece.
We do.
And
hopefully
it's over here. I almost
forgot.
We did warn you.
Oh,
but
surprise
we
questions.
A random question, and then we all get to kind of give our answer for it.
Okay. You pick
the question. They're always different.
Is there a question?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, that's a really long piece of paper. Okay. Who do you love to work with? That's like a no-brainer for me. My studio partner, Jay.
Yes.
Well, so when I think of like work, right, definitely, Jay has been like my biggest supporter, biggest fan when it comes to going on these adventures, like sound baths and yoga, and just having the ability and kind of flexibility, like I'm always in the studio, but if I have this chapter, she's like, you do you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we have such a great partnership when it comes to the studio. Like she's the photographer and the creative, right? And then I'm like the boring stuff. I mean, it's not boring, it's fun, but the business side, the sales side, the portrait reveal is always a beautiful process. And so we can't do one without the other. And that's why we work so well together. But also my husband.
Oh, I like that.
I mean, him and I are like, we don't get to see each other like as much as I would love, which things could change. We have a very good working like partnership, relationship, friendship. Like we understand each other. We understand like, when it comes to like, hey, like the dishes really need to get done in the trash. There's no ask. Like it's just like this beautiful working,
it's nice
relationship that we have that, I know a lot of, married or not married, whatever partners may not have that. I mean, it's not perfect, but I do come to realize that like he makes my life easier, and I hope that I kind of do the same. So, are you answering too?
Yeah, sure. I can go first. Well, let's see. I think maybe as a general term, right? I enjoy working with people, and it's mostly been women, but people who are trying to bring calm into their lives, and their life is just really chaotic, and they just don't know what to do. And at the same time, not only that, but just having the mindset to be open to making changes, and to hearing other points of view and other ways of doing that. But I also enjoy working with Katheryn, my sister. It really has been a wonderful thing. And I tell you, Katheryn, you are my motivator. You are just my motivator, and you get me to do things that I would normally be scared to do, and to look at things differently. And I would not be doing a podcast if it wasn't for Katheryn. I appreciate you and nudging me and supporting me.
I was going to say my TheraSister as well. And keeping me grounded and keeping me, it's that confidence of like, we can do this, right? Like, even if I throw out some crazy idea, you're like, all right, well, let's try it. So that is a wonderful thing. And then I was thinking too of like, if I think about the clients I really like to work with is couples, obviously, but I think about the couples that just feel lost, right? The couples that feel really stuck, and that this love is here, but so many things are getting in our way, and we're just struggling to really communicate that with each other, either because of our backgrounds and how we're kind of taught to communicate, or how we're taught to protect ourselves that gets in the way of us being vulnerable. So that's what I guess I would love to say that I'd like to work with. So, yeah. So that's my cool. Yeah. So that brings us to our end.
Yes.
Thank you. You just talk all day,
right? What else? Oh, one more thing was, do you have anything to promote? Do you have anything that's coming down the pipeline for people to kind of pay attention to?
Well, where you could find me. So obviously social media. I have Instagram, Facebook.
And how do they find you there? Well and Ash.
So just like if you search Well and Ash, you'll find me. It's literally a Well plus sign Ash. So yeah, that's always the nice thing. And the photography studio that I work out of, Bellissimo Photography Studio out of O'Fallon, Illinois. So if you want to cross the river, that is definitely where I post a lot of my sound baths. I also do a monthly sound bath outside of. I try to do bi-weekly, like 1 hour sessions, usually on like a Wednesday night from like 7 to 8. But monthly session, it's actually a really cool experience. It's called Ambient Immersive Sound Bath. And what it is I partner with a dear friend, Jacob. He calls himself the holistic guitarist. And so him and I partner and collaborate, and we do an hour-and-a-half sound bath where he plays his Telecaster.
Okay.
Just ambient, beautiful music. And then I partner my bowls with him. So you're getting that sound bath feel, but also like some beautiful ambient music.
How does that work?
This coming Thursday. So I'll send you guys the link. But yeah, so it's all like we play differently every time. He's got a lot of music, and so he'll whatever he wants to play, and I'm listening, and I just in each bowl I have 9 has a note, and so I'm just kind of syncing up with him through harmony. And I don't call myself a musician, but I think you do have to have kind of somewhat of a musical ear to do that.
I think so.
Yeah. So yeah. So we do that monthly. Like I said, I do a lot of partnerships with Moonbird. My yoga studio, yoga fam, and just looking for unique ways. Like for instance, I have the trapeze yoga with Mandy, and sound bath that you got to come to, which was such a cool experience. But yeah, that's kind of what I have. It's just like whatever feels good, whatever I want to do. Like Jacob and I were talking about maybe doing something outdoors, off when it's not raining, storming, tornadoes. But yeah, so that's kind of, the future. I also have, it's a women's wellness retreat. It's just one day, June 30th from 1 to 6. It's actually with Hope Wellness Center out of Swansea. My friend Mindy. And we're doing basically it's centered around women's wellness and menopause and like beyond. But I'm doing a sound bath, but also restorative yoga at the same time with my fellow yogi. Her name is Mia. She is like the restorative queen at Moonbird. And so we are going to be doing that at the little retreat.
Can we find that on your website?
Yes. So all of them, typically when I'm posting or collaborating, you'll see it on my website and social media as well.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and sharing all of this. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we have anything to promote? I don't think we have.
Subscribe. You can find us on Spotify and Apple. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Bye. Okay, hold on. Keep going.